welcome to Around the Game. And tonight I'm with Ongom Richard David, a very talented athlete in Uganda. Richard, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
How
Glad
have
you
you
guys
been?
could host. I've been great. Very
Okay.
fine.
That's good. How has Corona been treating you?
Not so good, but it was also a blessing. Had time to train.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ongom Richard is a very talented man. He plays a couple of sports, athletics, basketball, rugby, just to mention a few. We shall get it from the horse's mouth. Richard,
First hand. Yeah.
tell us about your sports career in Uganda. Basketball. How did you begin playing basketball? How did you begin participating in athletics, rugby, all those things? Please do.
Okay. For basketball was high school in DJSS. When I went to Indeje, we self-learned the game between S1 and S3. So I started playing basketball in senior 3. We were given an opportunity because that year the school team Wisect, they felt they were too strong and the school couldn't do without them. So our games master decided to drop the entire team and surprise them and take us youngsters. I think the average age we were about was 15, 16. We were like in S2, S3. Yeah, so we went for that championship. District champs, we didn't win the trophy, but we finished as runners up. Yeah, that's where my career started from.
But how did you say, I want to begin playing basketball? Did someone inspire you? Did you watch a clip somewhere or something?
It gets down to passion.
Okay.
You're saying that because there's no restriction on which game you can play in DJSS. All the games are given high priority. That is basketball, that is athletics, rugby, and everything.
Yeah.
So when you learn a game in DJ, your heart just goes where you want to go. If you want volleyball, you go for volleyball. If you want chess, you go for chess.
Yeah.
So me, I fell in love with basketball because the likes of the Komakate Benz were there. I think I was still in S1.
Okay.
The Christians were also there, and some other very good players. And the courts were everywhere. And it's an activity where every student used to go to.
Yeah.
It's a fast-paced game. It's more fun. Anyone can score. Yeah, it's not restrictive. So that's how I fell in love with basketball.
What about rugby? How did you fall in love with rugby?
I've always had a liking for sports which are high contact. Yeah. And I think if my dad hadn't taken me to Indeje, because coming into secondary school, I had 2 admissions. I had Indeje and I had Namiliango.
Okay.
So for some unknown reason, my dad just took me to Indeje. Yes. So if I ended up in Namiliango, I would probably be playing rugby compared to other playing basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then athletics. How did you? Why did you pick athletics?
Athletics was Indeje SS because Indeje has a very competitive sports calendar. We have it at inter-house level, where the 7 houses, both men and women. And to make it more interesting is, the men and women, their points are shared. They have the same houses. They have the same houses as the men. So for you to win the overall house competition, you have to also make sure your ladies also perform well.
Okay.
So athletics was one of the most likely. We used to do cross country, we do marathon, we do everything from 100 meters to 10,000 meters to javelin to. So eventually, everyone gets involved in an activity. Everyone gets involved.
Okay, that makes sense. Then I just want you to briefly tell us about the history of. I'll talk about basketball. I want you to talk about basketball, rugby, and athletics. The history of the teams you've been to.
Okay.
Let's begin with basketball.
Pardon?
The history of the teams you've been to during your basketball career in the league.
Okay. Yeah. The history of the teams I've been to. I started with, first of all, coming out of high school. If I have to give credit to Steve Esco because he's the one who brought me to the league. Okay. I don't think I was so focused enough I was going to play for a league team. Yeah. But he's the one who scouted me out of high school because I played well in nationals. We finished as 4th in Manjasi. So coming out, he told me, come play for Livingstone. Because I used to come to Namongo and I used to play well. I used to bully guys. So he was like, you come play for Livingstone. So that's how my journey started with Livingstone. Okay. What I can tell you about them, they were, for the first side I played for, they were very straightforward, they were very loving, they were very accommodative, and they were very understanding. They would help motivate me also because they knew I was someone coming out of high school. But it also came down to me because I had the zeal to play. I wanted to play sports. Okay. Yes. And then
so who are some of those teammates you remember in Livingstone? Because I believe Livingstone set your career like created the path.
Yes.
Who are some of those players in the team, like the veterans who you fought there, who really helped you?
Oh, the ones I remember actually all of them. All.
Okay.
There was Emodu Abe. Abe is still playing right now, I think in Livingston.
Okay.
There was Mose. Mose played for Namblazers last year. We call him Mose Bank.
Okay.
Yes. There was Philip Buyondo. Buyondo was there. There was what's his name? Oh God. There was Esco himself, Steve. Steve also played for us. And then there was oh, it's funny how the list just disappears when you start mentioning them.
Basically, at least I've listened. You say that Emodu Abe.
Yeah.
Was very pivotal to like you settling in the team and encouraging him.
Yeah, very. I would rate him as one of the best big men I've played with. Of course, the word best is questionable, but in my opinion, yes, he's one of the best I've played with.
Okay.
For someone of his height, his energy, and his strength of rebounding the ball. From what I heard, this is a guy who was offered opportunity to play in very many teams, but he turned down the offer. So, in my opinion, he's the longest serving league member in a particular team. I think he has played in that particular team. He's almost like Kobe Bryant, the Mamba. Yes, he has played for Livingston only his entire career.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Then moving on from Livingston, you went to.
From Livingston, I went to Vegetarians.
Okay.
Because sadly that year you remember we got relegated. Yeah, Livingston got relegated. So we went and did a tryout with Veg, and we were many, but Veg eventually decided to let me in anyway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So moving on to Veg, my Veg career started in a very queer way because I used to sit for a while. I used to bench. Yeah, because as a new member on the team, I understood that, and there were probably better players in the team at that time. Yes. Yes. So I sat for the first games, I remember, and my breakthrough game was a game against MBC Rocks. Yeah, it was MBC, where the coach decided to just give me a few minutes of playing time. I was like, players are tired, let me put you on and see what you can do. And it just started to work out for me. I think I scored about 20 something points in that game.
Who was the coach by then?
I think Otino Zanu quit us at that time. Simon. Yes, Otino Simon. Okay. Zanu quit us that first game when I was in Veg. It was Otino Simon, yes.
When you made wonders and he was like, this is my guy.
Yeah, I was like, this is my guy, it's my guy. From that time, I would actually start most of our games. But I never used to really mind playing or starting because I always believe the roster is always deep. And there have to be 5 players on that court at every time. You cannot be 12 at the same time on court, definitely. So if your teammates are comfortable with you being on, why can't you be comfortable with them also being on court and you being on the bench? Yes, because someone has to bench eventually. Yes.
Exactly. So, any fun memories of the team of your time in Vegetarian?
Yes, definitely. It's one of the teams where we had a very deep brotherhood. I remember, and then we used to play very good elite defense. We liked each other, though on court it was strictly business. We never used to tolerate nonsense. But my most fond memory with Veg was it was the time we went to Gulu. Okay. Went to Gulu to play Gulu Hawks, and we were winning the game. We had a very good team bonding because we used to have team bondings. So we lost that game, but we learned a lot from that game. It was that game that determined whether we were going to be promoted to NBL or not, in my opinion. And after losing that game, I think we topped the season. We topped the league that season. We are number 1. So going into playoffs, people are like, these guys are not going to make it. They're going to choke. They're going to know what. But I think our team was just exceptional. So we went ahead to qualify to the NBL. My most fond memory was when we beat Giants Thomas in game 1. We messed up. I remember I missed the game-winning shot. And then game 2 is where I came and we won convincingly. And then game 3 we sealed the game and qualified to the NBL. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from Veg, you joined UCU, that's your Uganda Christian University.
Actually, after moving on from Veg, I remember some kind of bad luck befell me actually. I got suspended from the league. Yeah. So getting suspended, I sat out. It was half a season. So Livingston they took the opportunity and said we can talk to FUBA and we can have your suspension reduced and cut. But I'd spent most of it anyway. I think it was almost close to a year now.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went and had a meeting, and I was told to play against. I went to Livingston, and then after
That was
Livingston,
that was in Div 2, right?
that was in no, it was Livingston was in the lowest division,
Yeah.
D League. Actually, I played in D League.
Yeah.
So after, but my contract with Livingston was simple. I told them I'm just giving you guys a season. After this, I can move on and leave. Yes. So we gave them one good season, and then the next season I went back to Vegetarians. We were still in the NBL. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you, I mean, you're a two-time vegetarian player.
Yeah. And I intend to become get another year with veg, probably 3 or 4
Okay.
future. Yes.
So moving on from veg, then you joined UC.
Yes, I joined UCU. Yes, and I joined UCU because UCU was fun. It was another atmosphere. One piece of advice I can give to anyone is UCU. I give them credit because they develop structure in basketball. These days, I look at the way I play these days and I be like, wow, all along I can actually read backdoor, read this, read rotation, balance the court. I learned all that from UCU. I think most people in Uganda these days, they're coaches who aren't really coaches. That's the truth. They just come and think basketball is just about throwing players in and throwing them out.
Yeah.
You have to look at court spacing and a lot of things. So with UCU taught us structure. And then you get to integrate with more experienced players. Because most of the time I'd always played for underdog teams. We're called underdog teams because people don't look at you as a threat to other teams, or you don't have the potential to win the league.
Yeah.
So with UCU, you're looked at as now as someone who is a little more bigger, looked at as a contender. Yes. Yeah.
So talk about Coach Nick. I believe he's one of the coaches you worked with at UCU.
If I'm to rate coaches in Uganda, I don't really play with Mandy, but people say one of the best. But I would say Coach Nick is in my, of course, no disrespect to other coaches, they're also in the top.
Yeah.
Coaches, you're in the top. So Coach Nick is, I think, my number one coach because of one thing with UCU, it's structure. And then I like what UCU has been doing over the years is giving opportunity to talent in form of scholarships and giving a chance to up your game also. It's currently happening with Fayed, Dikong. These are people who are not known some years back. Dikong known some years back? He wasn't known some years back, yes.
I think Dikong broke to fame, I think, maybe last season or the season before.
Yeah, because when I was in Phenoms, I remember he built his name because people started now knowing Dikong as someone who can jump, some guy who can block, someone who can dunk.
Yeah.
But I think his breakthrough is when he joined UCU Cannons. Yes, that's where it became so exceptional, and that's one thing that UCU has done for most of the players who have played for them. I'm sure when the likes of the Kwakos, the maybe Innocent Odu, and the other players like Gang, when they join, people look at them and be like, Egao, people look at them and be like, these are just young kids. Probably not expect them to be stars at this point. You understand? But now when you look at the roster of UCU, everyone is almost somewhere. Okwako is someone successful in Kenya. He started his camp. Desmond is playing in Australia.
Yeah.
Yes. Namaka is playing for JKL. Andrew Gang is also playing now for UPDF. At least the carriers have maintained, have kept on point, and guys are active. Wundi has been on South Sudan national team.
Yeah,
Wacha is playing for JKL. The people have had some good exceptional careers. Yeah, that's why I give UCU all the credit. The sports structure is on point, it's just perfect.
Okay, so I want you to talk about your high school life towards the contribution of the developments of your basketball and athletics career. Because these days the truth is, the talk is there's no development in the grassroots in terms of basketball. I don't know about athletics so much, but I don't know if you remember the Sprite tournaments. It actually died, yet it was very, very important, like in terms of competition for people to develop their talent. So I want to talk about how Indeje helped you improve as a sportsman.
Oh, okay. Indeje, one thing I can say is the best school for talent development because their co-curricular activities are very, very high. They take it on another serious level. There is a school where when you win the final trophy of sports, you feel like actually a champion. And you see the best thing about that school was every game has a moment to shine. It's not a school like, let me say, Chibuli, where they were known strictly for basketball and football. But in Nigeria, that's not the case. They realize that every student has to be engaged in activity. So be it cricket, be it chess, be it volleyball, be it basketball, you will go for nationals, you will compete at district level, and if you probably make it to national team, you will be called. That is it.
In high school.
In high school, yes. So like you said, I'm just going to actually support your point. These days, in my opinion, and I think it's fact, everyone knows this, the level of athletes being fed into the various leagues are very few for particular games. For basketball, I think the tally has really dropped so low.
Yeah, so much.
Because I remember, in my year, I'm a graduate of high school of 2009. The players, indeed, we had so many basketballers to the extent that every year, I remember when the Kumaket Benz left after winning a championship in 2004, everyone said, there's no more basketball, indeed, it's going to die. There's not going to be a team, it will never recover. But just a year later, we already had more talent coming in. Kids, people had already improved. And up to now, even us when we left, because us we had one of the best rosters in my year. Everyone was average 6 feet 5'11". Everyone on the team were a very strong side.
In high school, that
Yes,
was
so
really
everyone said, this team, after this team leaves, there's not going to be any more basketball in Indeji. And I was surprised and shocked when I went back some years back after that to play pickup, and wow, what the kids were doing to us, it was very crazy. Kids were very, very good. So the talent development is something which is actually causing a lot of problems. And I'm going to tell you, talent development is not just entirely upon the school alone. It comes down to family, because when you're in high school, your family expects you to be academically sound. They want you to perform well in school. And then you also have some parents and relatives who don't look at sports like much, because the sports structure in India has been struggling for some good amount of years. So you look at it like, we're going to invest our money, you're going to go do sports, but at the end of the day, it's not going to take you anywhere. And you can't blame them, because this has actually been true. Typically, it has been true actually. Most times, sports actually don't take people anywhere in Uganda. You find someone plays. So most of the people in my lot, for example, after high school, I thought all of us were going to make the league. They could have. I think some of them could have made national team. But as I speak right now, like of about 30 basketball players who some are actually better than me. They could have been on national team. I think we only have 4 playing. Komaketi is still playing. There is me. Abasa Daniel played but quit. And then Don Mosempeba is still playing.
Pasco.
Pasco, yes. Yeah. But most of the talent died out. Yet this is the school that provides. In Deji, when candidates are leaving, most schools come and pick our players. Like from high school, they come and be like, wow, now that kid come here, let's confuse him. Tell him to come to Chibuli or something. Tell him I won't give him scholarships. And this is where I give Deji a lot of credit. Deji is not a typical sports school where students are given scholarships. The only scholarship you get in Deji is not sports related, it's academic. They give the top 3. They give you for being amongst the top 3 in books.
For the next term?
Yes, that's the only scholarship they give you. But for some reason, students are always willing to devote a lot for the school, and parents are always willing to support. The problem, I think, comes right out of high school. Okay. The number of people engaging in sports now reduces. Okay. Yes.
So how has sports helped you as a man?
Sports has helped me with a lot of things. One, it has helped me with emotions, because when I was in Indeji, I was a very emotional person. Yeah, so emotional. I only loved winning. It still happens with me, but it's not worth it. When you have it in you that I only know how to win. That's the truth. I only know how to win. Yeah. So I will do anything I have to do to win. Again, that's the truth. Yeah. Which my coach was a very supportive person. He helped Mr. Musoke Steven. He's now not in the school. He helped advise me and told me that is good for a young person. You must be willing to win. You must sacrifice to win. When your body can still do it, it's going to help you develop a very tough mentality. That's the truth. Yes. Yeah. But I think when I got out of high school into the league, the winning part became so much again. Yeah. When you test success and prosperity, that's all you want to. All you want to win. So me, I think I used to take it almost to another level.
You take it so personal.
Yeah, I think there was a point where even like if I lose a game, walking over to the opponent's bench like to give a handshake or what, it would not happen. I would just leave and go. But But being emotional, I mean, I used to cry. I'm not someone who really cries. I just be there. Yes.
Okay, so who are those coaches who have helped you develop both in athletics and basketball?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's quite simple. That one is very easy. For athletics, I'm going to give credit to Coach Chiwa because I trained mostly with him out of high school.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention high school because high school we were taken for events and games, but we were not really trained to the best standard because we were young anyway. But for athletics, I'll give it to Coach Faustino Chiwa, and then there's Coach Kabuye Timothy, and there are also other coaches, but these are the prominent 2 years.
Okay,
They
then
really
basketball.
trained us well.
Mm.
Then basketball, and FYI, Coach Faustino Chiwa is a national team coach. So we trained in athletics in MOOC with the best. And then Kabuye is for UCU. Also, we consider him one of the best.
In the country?
Yes, in the country, yes. So these guys really helped us a lot. They know what, coaches who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what you want. All you want to do is come and train. When you feel in a certain way, you can talk to him and tell him, I could talk to my coach about anything. I'll tell him, coach, I'm not feeling well today. Because they knew I had a very good training mentality. So I'm not a person who misses training. If I miss training, it has to be for a very good reason. So I tell him, coach, I'm not eating lunch. I'm going to do the workout, but if I don't finish, you have to understand. And we'll say, okay, but you have to give me, the first one, you have to give me your best. Yeah, that's how we talk. We'll be like, he had this way of talking. We'll be like, he's a look brother, so he talks very fast. You have to run all over him. You have to run all over him. That's how we talk. Yes. And then for basketball, I'm going to mention them in order. I'm going to start with for that first game. I'll give credit to Simon. Simon has very good basketball IQ. Yeah, for a coach. Yeah, Otine Simon. That was Veg. And then I'll go to UCU. UCU, I'm going to give credit to Coach Nick, without doubt. Like I explained earlier on about the structure. And then when I jumped back to KCCA, I'm going to give credit to one person in particular, that is Coach Roger Serenigo. Yeah, because I am going to tell you the fact, when I joined KCCA, we had a very deep team the year when we won the championship. Another issue here was, for me as a player, I was always ready to play. I'm always a consistent player because I really prepare myself to another level before a game. So by the time I get on court, I'm less prone to make errors, and I'm more likely to deliver. Yeah. So when I joined KCCA, I realized one thing. We had a very deep team, and we had signed very many superstar players. That's the truth. Yeah. So it was going to be very hard for all of us to play at the same time. So I had a coach with Coach Roger, and Coach Roger told me, and you ask him, he'll tell you, he told you, for you, Richard, you have to understand. You might know you're always ready to play. You're always ready to play. So what he was trying to imply to me was that you have to give chance some of these guys to play to build up, because playoffs, you need the entire roster. Yeah. That's the truth. You need your entire roster to be active for playoffs. So he gave me a chance to play. Whenever he gave me a chance to play, I would deliver. So there are games I would miss, and I want my teammates to know this because I think it was being selfless. I saw that when we're going to play, no disrespect to the teams I'm going to mention because I believe they're very strong sides. When we're going to play like teams like at time Mackinday Shooters were struggling, I missed some of those games. Vegetarians also were struggling, I remember. I decided not to go for that game. I just called and told them, you know what, I'm busy, I have papers, because I wanted to give a chance to my teammates to have a chance to play. Because I knew without me they would win the game easily. That's the truth. Yes, and it actually happened. We built the confidence we needed for playoffs, and playoffs, everyone had a good time. Everyone won a championship as a team. Okay. So, and lastly, Escodato. Steve Escodato, because he is one brought me to league basket. I don't see my life playing league if it wasn't for Steve. I would not have played league basket. I'll probably be in athletics 100%. I'll be in my village farming. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, because you've talked about playing for UCU. Yeah. You were a student there, right? Yeah, I was a student. And before you joined UCU, you first played for MOOC. I was in MOOC, yes. And the history, the tradition in MOOC about winning is just like yours. You love winning, and MOOC has always been winning. So I believe Makerere is also a winning university when it comes to sports. Yeah. Tell us about sports in Makerere. Before you go to the market, so we all had that thing we had to do it. And then now for more, we had our rules. In a game, there's no losing. People lose would understand, but I think it's one of the best universities you'd want your kids to go and study in. On academic wise, they're very good. I think they're like the best in Uganda. They're still the best. Sports were very good at the time. We and I'm going to tell you this: Mook gets one of the best talents over the years. Everyone wants to go to Mook. That's the truth. Don't let anyone lie to you that.
And it's a big university.
Don't let anyone lie to you that. Oh, you see, I went to this university because I don't like. Why most people apply to Mook? Everyone applies to Mook.
Yeah, nice.
They want to go to Mook. Yes. So most times, if you don't make Mook, it could mean you either chose to actually study in that particular university you wanted, or you just didn't make it to Mook, or they gave you something you didn't want. Now, Mook's sports principles at the time I was there were very solid and on point.
Yeah.
Yes. We used to go for intervarsity. Every team used to be taken for intervarsity. We used to have our coaches, we used to train us, and every team in Mook would be active in the league. That's a very good structure for an institution, where you have a league team, and then in preparation for ongoing games like intervarsity, you have a team which is also going to go and compete for intervarsity. So, sorry, I'm a very modest person. So, with Mook, the issue came around their education schedule. How do you balance education with sports? Because Mook, I think the education schedule takes priority. That timetable, academic calendar takes more priority than the sports calendar. So we find the times where you're doing exams, but they're telling you on intervarsity is happening around between 15th, 16th to like 19th. So they tell you, we're going to depart for intervarsity on 15th, but you have an exam on 16th, and you're going like to Dar es Salaam or Kenya. So how do you do it? So that entire time you have exams, training becomes hard because you're so focused on your exams. For me personally, I used to go and train because I would always find a way to read and yes. So that's where the problem came. Because I realized one thing, it seems Mook couldn't sacrifice their academic calendar to favor the sports calendar. Yeah. So I kind of sense that the sports calendar was going to become difficult with time. And I think currently it has become difficult because the time when we went to in Deje, that was it was Uganda University Games in 2013, I think. We actually went few teams. We went a basketball team, went some other few teams, but even going there was at your own choice. If you have a paper, you have to find a way and go and do your paper. There's nothing like sports teacher is going to help you. Go talk to your faculty dean, and they'll give an exception. Then if you missed your exam, you missed your exam.
If you play for the university.
Yeah, if you play for the university, that's the ironic part.
Where was Mrs. Penny Nakabenge and all this?
No, she was around, but there's something you have to realize. The structures which cannot be broken down. Mook is a government university.
Yeah.
How easy do you think it's going to be to break down that structure and tell the government, you know what, for our sportsmen, let other students do their exams, and then for them they go compete in intervarsity. Remember, it's the #1 university in Uganda. Go compete in sports, and then they come back, and of course, the fact that you're going for sports, they're not going to halt other students from doing exams.
Yeah.
And I don't think your parents are going to agree with the idea that you are going to compete in sports and choose to first halt your examinations. Yes. Yeah. Go do sports and you come back for exam. Honestly, me as a parent, I would not. If I were a parent, I would not mind. Let my kid go for sports as long as he knows what he wants. Come back, do the exam. But now with Mook's programs, I don't think it's possible because it's a government university.
So, in simple terms, sports has been disorganized because.
Yeah, honestly, it was disorganized, and currently I think it's because when I was in youth, I remember a time when we went for East Africa University Games in Kenya. It was East Africa, and the Mook team only brought an athletics team.
Only?
Yeah. Only brought an athletics team because I think the issue here was either the university had been closed, I don't remember the exact circumstance, either they had strike and had been closed, or they had exams. So they decided only to finance an athletics team at the time.
Was it that dangerous, really?
Yeah, it was dangerous, but you see...
For a university who has had a history of winning, and I'm very sure back in the day, Mook used to represent in all sports.
Yeah, Mook used to. We knew, I remember I was quite young. I remember every time we open newspapers in December, you just see MOOC champions. And the
Yeah.
records were there. A time they won, I think, 7 times in a row, champions. And it's a time where guys used to go away on anything. If the field sports was not being favored in any single way, they would run and start throwing stones, run to
strike.
Strike pretty much and get what they wanted. Yes.
Okay. So let's get into your athletics career.
Oh,
Tell us about how you began participating in athletics and the history of the teams you played for and your plans.
my athletics career started with Ndeje SS because of the structure. They made us do most of the games. So I developed a liking to very many games. That was athletics inclusive. So, but of course, high school athletics is not the same as competitive athletics. That's the truth. And I had to learn the hard way. To come out of high school, I was a very competitive person, like I told you. So I felt I was supernatural. I felt I was too bad. I was too exceptional.
Yeah.
So, I had to learn the hard way. So I met some national runners. I think it was Noam Chris at the time. And they tell me Chris runs, he's too good. But I didn't want to hear because I felt I was.
Chris the basketball
Yeah,
player.
Chris the basketball player actually. Played with Marking the Shooters. Yeah. And now plays for Nam Blazers. So I used to look at him and be like, oh, this guy is a runner. I used to always tell myself I'm better than him. And that's what I always tell myself. I'm better than everyone.
Mm.
So I went for my first competition at it was at Nambole. He told me, let's go for a try. Because he's my friend, I've known him for a long time. Same year, same age. So we went to Nambole and I never competed in national trial before. So I was wearing this long blue tight and I was super mugged and looked ripped and solid and strong. So everyone who saw me, all the coaches were like, who the heck is this kid? They're just seeing potential. They're like, this kid must have a lot of potential. Look at the way his muscles are built. Look at the way he looks strong. Look at the way he looks serious. So I remember that race, they put me in lane 8. Lane 8 is the last outer lane, 400 meters. The lane that no one wants to run in. So everyone was just watching me. So when they said the clapper went, go. I remember I started very fast. I saw people standing up, like on the opposite side, because normally you can see everyone. I think everyone was like, this kid is going to destroy people. Just because 400 meters is 200 meters. So reaching halfway the race, I was almost in front. I was doing well. When I reached 100 meters to go, that straight line like this, oh Lord, man, everyone passed. So the first guy go, second guy came and went, third guy came and went, fourth, and there was this short kid. So I think he might have even been in high school at then. Man, the guy came, the guy wanted to pass me. I even first refused. I'm like, no, I have to die with this guy at least. Man, the guy beat me by 30 meters. So you just know that race, the number one guy beat me by about 60 meters. The difference between number one and me was 60 meters. So after that, to cut the story short, my brother, two brothers in the US, they all did track and field. One competed national team, Okello Felix. So he came and was like, I had you run, so let's go for training. Gulu went to Gulu for training, and that's the first time I really got to know what athletics workouts are like. And I'll tell you, athletics has the hardest workouts you want to know in life. Every game has its own workout. Every game is hard in its own way. But because I played very many various games, athletics has the hardest workouts you want to perform. The workouts don't take long. They don't take long. You can do a workout of 5 minutes. Even there can be a workout of 2 minutes after warm up. 2 minutes. But those 2 minutes are going to be like, you feel like they're like 10 minutes. So it took me to Gulu. That's why he introduced me to things like, I want to run 3. Before coming out of high school, we used to just stretch, warm up, stretch, and go run. That is all. No workout, nothing. So he introduced me to 300 meters times 6, things that I'd never done. So he told me, you'll be good, you'll be good. So I remember my first national champs. I did not qualify for the final, but I ran well. I went and ran. My first time I remember was 50.2 seconds in 400 meters. Which at the moment I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, that is so terrible. Right now, if you run 50.2, you feel like we call it women's time. If you run that time, we say a woman can beat you.
So, what is the best time you've run? 400.
The best time I've run is 47 point something, 400, 47 something. I don't know exact particular, but it's of course still a little far from my main target. Yeah, hope to get a little lower than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are there some the tournaments you participated in internationally and accolades you've won?
Oh yeah, one of the best tournaments I participated in. Of course, when you say international, I'm not going to count within African borders. It will not count. Yeah. So I think the most prestigious was World Varsity, because it's called Small Olympics,
Yeah.
but for pretty much students, yes.
Okay.
Then we're going for an All Africa in Kenya, All Africa game in Kenya.
Yeah.
It was also good. And then, but I don't go for pretty much most of these local based within like Uganda, then maybe within East Africa, because we have to realize that East African athletics was scrapped. At the time we used to have East African Championship athletics, but it happened once, if I remember. I was not selected though, but guys only went once and then it stopped. Stopped there, yes.
I think the major accolades you've won.
Yes, but me, my accolades, I count them in form of medals. Athletics, we count them in form of just medals.
Okay.
Gold, silver, and bronze. And then for a big competitive event like World Pass, I did not win a medal, but I can say I performed well. And then for All Africa, I won a medal, I won a silver, but I won it in triple jump. And then the relay. And then most of the medals I've won come from intervarsity, and I have a national champs one also from national championship. And then other medals I have are from basketball. I have a chess medal from chess because I played chess also, played in the league, and I played intervarsity. I hope to go back to chess league actually, it's fun. And then volleyball, I don't have a medal. I only have high school, I think. Rugby, I don't have a medal. Yes.
Okay, so how do you balance between basketball and rugby?
Now balancing
Basketball, rugby, and athletics. Because
Actually,
you're also a rugby player, right?
yes. Now, can you believe at the time I used to do basketball? I play soccer. I'm very good at soccer. And one of my coaches told me if I was only serious, I'll be playing for a league team. I play very well. I'm very good CB, center back. But now, like to your point, balancing all these games became tight. My games master told me from high school, you have to now reach a level, because in high school I used to play every game. Played basketball, played volleyball, and
Soccer.
I was on school team, soccer.
You're in the school team of all those sports.
Yeah, basketball I was, soccer I was. By the point I had to leave. Volleyball, I had to also leave that one.
Rugby.
There's no rugby in Deji. That one was banned ages ago before I joined, because guys had a confrontation on the pitch. Chess, I was the captain, and I was on school team also. Yeah. Oh yeah, chess I was actually, not to blow my bubble. I was chess player of the year in my year in DGSS.
So how do you balance between all those?
That's now to the point. The point was, even joining MOOC, I had the same difficulty. My game master told me you have to drop some. So I decided to drop volleyball. So volleyball I don't play like inter-house, just play for fun. Football, now I stayed to football. I was playing chess, competitive, football competitive, chess, competitive, basketball competitive, athletics competitive.
You play, even in MOOC, you're playing for the university teams.
Yeah.
Soccer and everything.
No, for soccer I had to leave out because there's no time. You see, inter-university, this is where the difficulty comes. When you're training for inter-varsity, the coach wants a perfectly balanced and prepared team. And you have to understand this. However good an exception you are, you have to choose where you want to be. And it's what happened to me in some inter-university. It happened when I was in UC, because in UC I was doing chess. I went for basketball and I went for athletics. So Coach Nick allowed me to play basketball, but after I'm done with my athletics, that was the condition. Like when you're done with athletics, you can come and play basketball. But now I started first by playing chess. That means the entire time I was there, I was not training athletics and basketball. I was just playing chess because chess is so demanding. You play the whole day pretty much. You have to be there. Now with MOOC at that time, they would allow you if you could maintain the schedule. They would not refuse. They would say, okay, you know what? If you can maintain the schedule, you can play. So I found it so hard. And you know, as you grow older, your mind gets very fatigued. You get tired of doing the same thing over and over again. So I got so agitated at some point. It's why I took a break from athletics. Last year I did not compete. Even last year, but one I competed less because I was tired of doing the same thing over and over again. Over and over again, I was mentally tired. So I took a break. And even basketball is reaching the same level because I'm just getting tired, very exhausted from it. I need to have a break. But I think COVID has given me a break which is adequate enough. So at the moment, I have dropped. So at the moment, the only games I'm having in mind at the moment are basketball, chess. Chess I cannot drop it because mentality. Chess gives you the worst. Chess is the worst game you want to play when you're losing. So that toughens you mentally. It makes you feel like a champion when you win. So basketball, chess, athletics, and rugby. Now the trick now is between rugby and basketball. Chess and athletics are constant; those ones I can't drop them.
Yeah.
But now going to be between rugby and basketball, because you have to realize one thing: basketball takes a certain time throughout the year. It's not throughout the year; it takes some good months based on the new adjustment. But with rugby they play throughout the year, and that's why I love their schedule. Those guys are active throughout the year. If you play sevens and you play 15s, you will play the whole year. You will play Uganda Cup, you will play sevens, you will play 15s. That's the truth. There's like pretty much the only players who rest are those guys who play maybe 15s only. You rest, you have a small break at time when people are playing sevens, you will have your break. But if you play 15s and sevens, you're in for a very, very good treat, yes.
Okay. So where do we see Richard in the next 5 years in terms of sports?
Okay. In terms of sports, definitely, I have to maintain my legacy. I have to be a star. That's the truth. Not yet super, but I have to be a star. So I intend to add on my accolades, and of course, it might not be entirely competing as a player in sports. I never really wanted to get. So this is so sad for us. I wanted to get into coaching. I always now wanted to be a coach in sports, but I'm now starting to see the age why people go into coaching. You feel when your body gives up and you cannot do something anymore as an athlete, you want to inspire someone else and you give back. The only way you can give back is through coaching. You give back to develop someone else who will also your legacy can live on through some other athlete. Whether young, someone you can get through high school, you can pass your legacy to them and it will look like you never left the game. So I really started getting into coaching. At the moment I'm coaching about 5 athletes. With 5 athletes. But because of COVID I've been taking them through conditioning, fitness, do tests, and I'm doing well. And you see coaching, trying to develop my own principles from what other coaches also develop, getting what they had already initially, I'm adding mine on top. So at the moment, I am testing my training program on myself because I train myself at the moment. Yeah, for athletics, I train myself. I do most of my conditioning. So like when I go to the basketball court, it's very easy. So when I go to the track, it's kind of easy.
So let's wait for Richard the coach.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get a little bit more personal. Let's get back into basketball. Yeah. Do you have an all-time starting 5 NBL?
Now that one, okay. Let me try and mention them. It has to be like right any position. Or
yeah, you can mention just 5. Then you have to be.
Or player per position. Okay, let me try mentioning player per position. Okay. As my number 1, I think I would pick AI. I call him artificial intelligence. People will call him Iverson because that guy was a normal, definitely. Yeah. I'll pick AI as my number 1. As number 2, I would pick the Mamba Bryant. As now my number 3, actually, as my number 2, yeah, the Mamba. As my number 3, I would definitely pick Slim Reaper. I'll make him play my number 3. That is Kevin Durant, definitely. And then for number 4, because I'm going to mention current players also.
Yeah, that's it.
As my 4 man, I would give Eddie. I like the way he has been playing ever since he joined the NBA. I'm not actually a very strong Lakers fan. I'm not a fan. I actually want them to lose against the Heat, but things are not going well against me. Yeah. Yeah. But I would pick. I would pick LeBron. LeBron 4 man. I'll give him a 4 because he can play a little bit down there on the post. And I'll give Eddie as my 5. Okay. Yeah, you have to understand. I had to make that list just out of brainstorm. I wish you had told me like
no problem
as an advice.
So then NBL top 5.
Of course, you have to understand. I have to be selfless, but I must not also be selfish. In my top 5, if I say myself, people will be like, wow, hey, no, definitely. So my top 5, I would have myself. It would be so.
No, do not put yourself.
I don't put myself.
You're the coach of the team.
Okay, fine. If I'm now yourself, definitely. If I'm the coach of the team, my number 1 would be my all-time. My number 1 would be. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to split between players. I'm not going to because it would be unfair because I have too many players in that exact particular position.
Oh, no problem.
I'm going to get between the 3 players are going to be my point guards.
Okay.
There's Francis, who played for Falcons. You remember him?
Yeah.
Conrad Francis. Conroys. Him, Fayed, and Kembale Jusa would be fighting for that number 1 slot.
Okay. Then number 2?
For number 2, that is shooting guard. Number 2 shooting guard, I would give. Man, who shoots the ball? We don't have shooters. Okay, number 2 shooting guard, I would give. I'm going to pick just random. I'm going to pick Tony Vileva. We will shoot a roll of
all
shoot.
time.
For NBL, Uganda?
Yes. All time, not current, just all time. Best at that position in Uganda ever since.
Okay, that makes it easy.
So number 1 is definitely Ken Valides.
Yeah, number 2, I'll still give Tony. Okay. That's the truth.
Number 3?
Number 3, I will give Norman Blake.
Okay.
No reason being, I saw him play when I was a little younger. You see that I saw him play little when I was a little younger. Okay. Now you see, the more I think about this, the more players that just keep coming up, man, I realize I made a mistake. So number 2, Jimmy and Tony Vileva, the 2 of them will fight for that slot.
Okay.
Okay.
Number
3, I don't know. Number 3 at on there will be Norman.
Number 4.
Now that's where it gets tricky. My number 4 would be Desmond.
Okay.
Or Willie. I'll not play him as a center, I'll play him as a 4-man because of the ability to poster, and the ability to create his own scoring.
Okay.
I'll play him as a 4.
Then number 5?
Then you have to give me a second. And for 4-man, I'll pick Desmond or Mwalimu. You know Mwalimu?
Which Mwalimu?
Mwalimu was in KCCA.
Yeah.
Chijogo, that was in Tanzania right now. Those would be my 2 for that position.
Okay.
Mwalimu or Desmond. Because they all strong in this. I think number 5 has to be. This is hard. First, brainstorm for me some few 5 men.
Number 5, we only have one national number 5 like Uganda. Henry Malinga.
Oh,
you can't even put Stevie the Mojo in that position.
Actually, you mentioned the right person.
Henry Malinga.
I would get between Henry Malinga and I'll consider Chuma Fadilius.
Okay,
so
Malinga
and Chuma Fadili, yeah.
Okay. So toughest players you've come against in the NBA, both offensively and defensively.
For me, honestly, I think I'm a 2-way player. I can score and I can defend. So you've asked me the right question. I'm the right person to give you the real answers who the toughest the defenders are. For me, defending a player on defense, the toughest offensive player I've met is it has to be between Wanga and Chris Omani, one of the 2.
2 Congolese.
Yeah.
Then defensively?
I've actually not met any player who
gives you hard time.
Gives me hard time on defense because of how I play. The nature of how I play. If you shut me down on set play, I use transition, and you know transition is hard to stop. You can't stop someone from running. Yeah. So that one, being honest to you, I've never met any tough opponent.
Then do you have any role models?
Yeah, I do. Are you asking like
basketball? Someone you've looked up to and you're like, okay, I want to mimic my game like this guy.
Yes, definitely. Much as I'm not, but this is local or
any international.
I look at LeBron. Not really a very, very big Lakers fan, but I think LeBron is a very good role model.
Okay.
Basing on his discipline, essence of hard work, and how much he has put in. That would be my number 1 role model. LeBron James. He just seems to be a very, very perfect athlete in the game. Okay. You never hear anything very disorganizing about him. Everything always seems on point. Like he probably goes home, he looks out and does this sort of audition, like the dream audition that say when you're walking out, you have to walk in this way, you have to look at people in this way, you have to talk in this way. Yeah, it just seems perfect. LeBron. Yeah, and you know many people don't like LeBron, I think, because he's too good. That's what people say. They don't like him because he's too good. But I'll give him credit because most of the acts I look at when I look at a role model is someone being selfless, doing something for other people at your own expense. Yeah. So I think he's someone who has done that a lot. Yes.
Then how does your normal workout routine for Richard look like? Basketball athletics.
My workout routine is very, very hard. Even me myself, sometimes I actually feel
it. Yeah,
But I've reached the point where if I don't feel pain, I feel I'm not doing anything. That's how far I've reached. I can actually be going for a workout which is going to knock me out into a coma, but I'll still go and do it because I know it's what I want to achieve. So yeah, I can give an example of this COVID time. This COVID time, I have been training pretty much on a routine, on a daily. If I tell you I'm the most fit person in you, will you believe me?
Of course I will. Well,
Yeah, you have to, because this time, you see, this coach of KIU, Kaboa, calls me Mr. Everfit. Yes, and the other player, and I'm a player who has not gotten off. I barely have off season because of jumping from game to game. But for this year, I really dedicated time to train. I said, let me train so people see what I'm like when I am super fit. Because when people say you're ever fit, you feel offended because you yourself you don't really give as much in training as before. So this time I'm like, you know what? Let me show them. Let me decide to train very, very hard. So I have done jumping programs. I started with jumping programs. I did AA, that's air alert. I did VAT shock. But of course, I can jump. I can now jump. Everything is to effective 100%. I have done runs. I do hill. I do jogs. I do drills. I do aerobic training. I do anaerobic training. I've done strength power training. So I would say right now I'm 150% fit. It's only now I have to now go challenge you probably in the gym and show you what I can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how has Corona affected you during this period?
Corona has affected me both positively and negatively.
Yeah.
Because being affected there must be a positive impact and negative impact. The positive impact was when the league was about to start, and that was the time I started doing air alert already. I'd sworn whichever game I have or whichever program I have in the league, I have to do my training routine as usual.
Yeah.
That is hard gym. I had to do gym. I had to do air alert, and I had to do my hill runs.
Yeah.
So even if I had a game tomorrow, I had to do my air alert today. I had to do my gym. So it would affect me. So when Corona came, it meant I had more time to train, and I was able to train. Yeah. But on the negative side, imagine Corona coming a day before the league, before your league game starts. Yet you're prepared. We had really run. Mugabe really made us run. We had trained. We were fit. You were even seeing we were having results. We were beating teams off season. Yeah. But it all went to waste. So most of us are back to zero. And I think the hardest part about COVID was the fact that we never knew when league was going to resume. Everyone was just praying, oh, let it start by this time. But definitely, I think according to FIBA rules, your league cannot start in one academic year and end in another. That's all end in 1 year. So we were just all keeping our hands crossed, hoping that the league was going to resume a while after, like in some few months, but it didn't actually happen. So that means all the training has gone to waste. But for me, as an athlete, and I learned this from athletics, and this one thing I want other people to know. Whatever happens, whether a league is not happening, you're supposed to train to your maximum potential. Maximum. Do your training, test yourself, have it like you're competing in a season. Like for athletics, I've been doing everything like I'm doing athletics in a season. And then you do your form of test. And then when you feel you've reached your peak, you've achieved a certain amount of time, you break off and you rest, you let your body recover. Because your body recovering means that if you again keep everything constant, no injury, you train well, your body will be able to perform better than what it did the next season. Because people have been telling you, why don't you maintain your form, keep your form constant, don't rest, don't break off. You see, most people carry on this fatigue from me. Like if I just continue training till next year, there's a time it will affect me. There's a time where I'll be so fatigued. I'll be so tired. I'll fail to perform. Yes.
Okay. So just two more questions. No, actually, not questions, suggestions. We're living in times of Corona. I just want you to look at the camera and advise the public on how to keep safe and avoid getting the infection.
Yeah, I would because I know sports have been approved with SOPs definitely, but I would because right now as we speak, people are now engaging in sports, others are training and doing whatever. I would still tell people and tell them Corona is real, definitely. Always wear a mask. Don't take it for granted that I've never gotten it, so it will never affect me. Always tell you wear a mask. Don't think about yourself alone. Think about your family. Think about other people who are going to be close to you. That is the best advice I would give you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then lastly, as an athlete, I know lots of people look up to you. just said you're a coach. You're planning to become a coach in future. So I wish you would look into the camera once again and advise people on how to become an athlete like you, or even better, something like that.
Yeah, I think that question is easy to tackle. It will come more to being a professional. I would add, guys, before anything happens, you first have to work hard. I know there's a lot of talent out there, people who want to compete in sports and give to this. What I can advise is don't give up. Invest your time, train. Before you're talented, for your talent to come out, you first have to train. There's no way anyone's going to realize you're talented if you don't put in the work and train hard. The talent will be there. You cannot just wake up and just say, "Oh, I'm talented. I'm going to go and I run and I'm going to be the best in the country." No, you have to give it your best. You have to work hard, and also being professional means you have to give back. When you get something out of sports, you have to give back. Give back to Mother Nature by developing other younger talent. This will come later.
Okay, that's it. Well, thank you, Richard, so much for being with us here today.
That's always an honor.
Yeah, I hope next time when we invite you, you come through.
Definitely.
Okay.
All the time.
That has been the Around the Game, our Wednesday edition. I'll see you again on Sunday, but before you log out, please subscribe. Have a good night.